Run for the money. Bush taps a Republican corporate executive for Treasury Secretary and again talks up the possibility of recession. The stock markets are listening. Prices went down. Heating costs soar. Bush tells OPEC, pump more. And the tragedy of Alzheimer's taking a toll on both patient and caregiver.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. President-elect Bush talked again today of what he sees as a U.S. economy in trouble, possibly headed for a recession. Mr. Bush says the sweeping tax cut plan he ran on is what's needed to head it off. This is part of the Bush strategy aimed at absolving himself from any blame for a possible downturn, saying in effect, it didn't start on my watch. Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan has not favored a big tax cut. Democrats call Bush's talk of recession unwise and his tax plan a windfall mostly for the wealthy. Mr. Bush today also introduced the man he wants to head up his economic team. CBS News Chief White House correspondent John Roberts has more tonight about the man who'd be managing America's finances and signing all your paper money as Secretary of the U.S. Treasury. John?
Dan, no sooner had the Federal Reserve declared that recession, not inflation, has emerged as a leading threat to the nation's economy than the president-elect rushed to introduce the man he would have guide the U.S. through turbulent economic waters.
We must have a steady voice coming out of our administration. Someone, should the economy take a downturn, who can calm people's nerves, calm the markets.
The voice is that of Paul O'Neill, the CEO of Alcoa Aluminum. Unknown to Bush, sources say he was running mate Dick Cheney's pick. His expertise in management and his 30-year friendship with Fed Chairman Alan Greenspan.
I've made it a business, my business, at his request to come by on a fairly regular basis and tell him what I thought he was doing wrong and what I thought he was doing right.
In making today's announcement, Bush again raised an alarm over signs of recession and said he was hoping for the best, preparing for the worst.
I'm hopeful, but I'm also a realist, and one of my jobs is to think ahead just in case. The Fed sent the signal, and we are going to play the hand we have been dealt.
The president-elect is aggressively seeking to place any blame for a downturn squarely on the Clinton administration. White House officials warned that Bush could send the economy into a tailspin just by talking that way.
A new president coming in and talking down his own economy runs the risk of becoming part of a self-fulfilling prophecy, creating more anxiety than should be there in the economy.
Bush is also using the warnings to sell his campaign promises to cut taxes, reform Social Security, and boost commerce. On that front, the president-elect today picked his campaign manager, Don Evans, for Commerce Secretary. Evans is a lifelong friend and Texas oil man who raised a whopping $100 million for Bush's election campaign. The appointment of O'Neill to Treasury was met with mixed reviews in the financial world. Many people would have preferred that Bush pick a Wall Street insider for the job. But the president-elect may need to capitalize on O'Neill's friendship with Alan Greenspan. The Fed chairman has spared few words in his criticism of the president-elect's plan to cut taxes. Dan?
John Roberts. All of this talk of a possible recession has Wall Street and investors listening closely. Stocks closed sharply lower today in what some are calling a Santa sell-off. The Dow lost 265 points, the NASDAQ 178. Among widely held stocks, Cisco plunged more than 12%, Dell nearly 9%, Microsoft lost more than 7%. IBM and Intel were down about 4.5%. President-elect Bush also expressed concern today about the impact of increasing energy prices on the U.S. economy. He said he hopes to persuade OPEC to pump more oil to bring prices down. With the temperature falling, America's heating bills are going up, as correspondent Bob Orr reports on the CBS Price Watch.
Early snowstorms have loudly trumpeted the arrival of winter. But what's really setting off seasonal alarms?
DC Energy Hotline.
Spiraling utility bills.
The gas bill, it just goes up. It seems like it goes up every time I look at it. I say, my God, what in the world's going on?
What's going on, says energy analyst John Kilduff, is demand is squeezing supply.
Consumers are looking at extraordinary bills compared to what they paid just only 2 years ago, from everything from heating oil to natural gas.
Natural gas prices will jump, at the very least, a staggering 50% over a year ago. And with colder temperatures forecast, 53 million households will need more gas to stay warm. The average Midwest family, which paid $540 for heating last winter, can expect to pay more than $800 this season. Northeast heating oil customers are also taking a hit. Bills will jump from $760 to more than $1,000 this year. Without offering specifics, President-elect Bush today signaled his concern over the developing energy crunch.
We must work in concert to increase the amount of supply available for American consumers.
In the West, the crisis isn't over cold, but rather an insatiable demand for electricity.
What we have here is the downsides of a booming economy. In California alone, 13% more electricity demand.
So Energy Secretary Richardson, meeting today with regional governors, extended his order, forcing Western utilities to keep selling electricity to California. There is one bright spot on the energy front. Gasoline prices are finally dropping, down 9 cents a gallon in the past month. But that's hardly enough to comfort consumers in an otherwise chilly season. Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
In addition to his Treasury and Commerce appointments today, President-elect Bush nominated Ann Veneman to head the Department of Agriculture. She would be the first woman to run the USDA. She's worked in both the federal and California state agriculture departments. Mr. Bush also tapped Florida's Mel Martinez for Housing Secretary. He arrived in this country as a young refugee from Cuba and worked his way up to executive of Orange County, Florida. While blanks at the top of the new Bush administration are rapidly being filled in, it's slower going for many lower-level jobs. With just 1 month until George Bush is to be sworn in, CBS's Jim Stewart reports they're backed up at the background check bottleneck.
Fines.
Lucky indeed are the handful of White House staffers already named by the president-elect. They might actually get cleared to go to work soon. But for everyone else about to join this late-blooming administration, welcome to Confirmation Hell.
Good morning.
With just 4 weeks to go, potential Bush nominees are being buried in clearance papers that normally take months to process, like the White House questionnaire, the National Security questionnaire, plus the Financial Disclosure Report. And says transition expert Paul Light, the forms want to know everything.
You have to go back in time and identify any traffic fines over $150. You have to remember the places and purposes of all foreign travel in the last 15 years, including short trips to Mexico and Canada.
Want a high-ranking government job? Try answering these. Name every school you attended, plus someone who knew you there. Name every place you worked and every place you lived, plus the name, address, and phone number of someone who knew you there. Remember Attorney General nominee Zoe Baird? Then you better remember if you paid your nanny taxes. And one form, the dreaded Form 86, gets real personal. This one wants to know the phone numbers of all your ex-spouses, whether you've used illegal drugs, plus details about your drinking habits. And here's a favorite.
One of the questions asked by the White House specifically is there anything in your background or your family's background that might embarrass the president?
Right. It's a ridiculous question. How can you answer it? I mean, have you stopped beating your dog yet?
And it would be funny if it weren't so painful for those involved, many of whom it's now estimated will still be going through this clearance process by the time the spring of 2002 rolls around. Jim Stewart, CBS News, Washington.
The president-elect says he's trying to reach out to Americans who feel he doesn't include their needs in his agenda, especially African Americans. Mr. Bush said today he hopes this will change, quote, when people who may not have supported me get to know me, unquote. CBS's Jim Axelrod reports on Bush's effort to win over blacks.
In his first round of photo ops, Americans have now seen a president-elect including black voices in a conversation about faith-based remedies for the nation's ills. A chief executive tapping blacks like Condoleezza Rice and Colin Powell in his first high-powered appointments.
General Powell is an American hero.
And a politician who knows he's got a problem to fix with black voters.
The way you hush the boos is you perform. You go out and do the right things. The score will take care of itself.
And the score right now is not a pretty picture for George Bush. Just 9% of African-American voters chose Bush, a tenth of the number that picked Gore. 87% of African-Americans still don't think Bush won the election legitimately.
He's going to have to work overtime before we believe.
Amos Brown was not among the religious leaders called to Austin today. A minister and member of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, he says in this first week, Bush has just been talking the talk.
George Bush.
But it's the walk already walked, like this one at Bob Jones University, a school that had forbidden interracial dating, that Mr. Bush must deal with to make inroads with many blacks.
The Bible does say one must show fruits of repentance. Mr. Bush's tree is bare.
I thought blacks would get more with Gore, absolutely.
And Faye Anderson was a Republican for 16 years, a member of the first Bush administration before growing disenchanted. Bob Jones was her last straw, too. She, and many blacks, she says, will watch carefully well beyond this first flurry of appointments and meetings.
Well, it's not about the first week or two. I don't think anyone is saying that he's off to a bad start. What he has done to date does not address how we got to this point.
She says many blacks are willing to see what changes may come. Just don't ask anyone to take it on faith. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, New York.
Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, the forgotten victims of Alzheimer's, the caregivers. Eye on America reports in depth next.
A significant discovery in eye health may be lutein, a nutrient found in these healthy foods. Now Centrum has the only leading multivitamins with lutein to help maintain your precious sight. Centrum Silver, now more complete with lutein.
You wouldn't dream of doing laundry without this. Soon, you won't dream of doing it without this. Introducing Tide Kick, the first pre-treater and detergent system. Measure, treat, toss. It's a nightmare for stains, and that's a dream come true. New Tide Kick.
We rescued this old boat years ago. It's how we planned to spend our retirement. Then I had a heart attack. I worried we'd never set sail. Turns out my cholesterol was high. I began exercising and eating better, but it was still too high. So I asked my doctor about adding Zocor. He told me Zocor, along with diet, can really get your cholesterol down. And Zocor is proven to reduce the risk of a heart attack among people with high cholesterol and heart disease. Now my cholesterol is right where it should be.
Zocor is a prescription medication and is not for everyone, including women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant, or people with liver problems. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems because serious side effects can result. Tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience and about any medicines you are taking. For more information about Zocor, talk to your doctor.
Do it for yourself. It's your future. Be there.
When the journey is just as important as the destination, count on Chevy Impala. Now, make your money count with as low as 5.9% APR on the 2001 Impala. That's $966 in average finance savings. And with more overall room than Taurus, Camry, and Accord, getting there is just as enjoyable as being there. So make your money count at your local Chevy dealer. We'll be there.
Do you know what your day is going to be like? I don't. So if I get constipated, I rely on Metamucil. It's 100% natural fiber. It treats my body gently, unlike my job.
Metamucil. For irregularity, it's the doctor's natural choice.
For every job, there's a hard way. Or there's the Dremel way. The Dremel rotary tool with right angle attachment. Suddenly, nothing seems out of reach. For every problem, there's a Dremel solution.
The Clinton administration is proposing sweeping changes to help protect your medical privacy. The regulations issued by President Clinton's day would sharply limit doctors, hospitals, and insurance companies from sharing medical files unless the patient specifically authorizes it. Employers would not be allowed to see your medical files, but you would have the right to see and correct them. These rules take effect in 2 years, but they are subject to review and changes by the incoming Bush administration and the Congress. Researchers report encouraging news today about an experimental Alzheimer's vaccine. Lab mice given the vaccine show signs of what's called improved mental function. Testing to see if it's effective in humans could begin in about a year. An effective vaccine would be a godsend for patients and for the hidden victims of Alzheimer's, caregivers. CBS's Elizabeth Caledon has their stories tonight to conclude CBS's Eye on America series.
Tuesday, you have your doctor's appointment.
When Don Miller was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, it changed the whole family dynamic.
You think you're up to doing that?
Oh, yeah.
No longer the confident man of the house, Miller had to give up working, driving, and independence in the prime of his life.
It's a very big burden, but Alzheimer's changes everything. It really does.
You know, this morning is your support group meeting.
It especially changed things for Don's wife, Sue, a vivacious woman in her 50s whose role went from career maker to caretaker.
You and Roger will go for lunch. My whole life is just sort of turned upside down. I feel like I'm leading two people's lives. In fact, I feel like I'm leading his life first, and then when there's a piece left over, I have my life.
What do you think it's like for caregivers?
At his weekly support group, Don acknowledges the stress.
Both are victims. Both the Alzheimer's patient is a victim and the caretaker is a victim, and they're literally locked together.
Okay, here you go.
Sue cooks for Don.
Why don't you take these?
Oversees his medication and drives him everywhere he needs to go. She is fully committed to his care, but admits how tiring it can be.
Sometimes I think, oh my God, I wouldn't want Alzheimer's, but he's got the better life. He gets to sit and be taken care of and driven around and plans made. And I become very resentful.
They are common sentiments of the Alzheimer's caregiver whose spouse is reduced to a child just when the couple should be enjoying their golden years. And the disease drags on. A person with Alzheimer's can live 8 to 20 years after diagnosis.
The Millers try to enjoy life one day at a time.
Look at the color in the sky.
A philosophy shared by Bob Becker, who is also caring for his wife, Ruth.
And I know it sounds funny, but we have a lot of fun together. We really do.
The Beckers were married 47 years ago in Italy, honeymooned on a motorcycle, and raised 3 sons.
Does it hurt? Yes. Do I sleep well? Not often. But I just feel, I mean, I don't know that there's an alternative.
You feel like you're in good hands?
Yes,
You're well loved, well cared for?
Yeah.
According to Alzheimer's experts like Dr. Leon Thal, in the absence of an immediate cure, love and security are the best medicine.
Don't make children out of them. Don't belittle them. Allow them to live to the full capacity of their cognitive abilities.
For Don Miller, that means spending as much time as possible with his new granddaughter, Maddie. For Ruth Becker, staying physically active and laughing through the fog of her days.
No kidding, she treats me very kindly. Don't you?
For the millions of lives Alzheimer's disease has claimed, it's the only real option, cherishing what's left rather than mourning what's lost.
Sweetie pie.
In North Salem, New York, I'm Elizabeth Caledon for Eye on America.
Following years of delay and food industry lobbying, the U.S. Department of Agriculture finally came out today with the first national standards for organic foods. The USDA organic label will not be allowed on any irradiated or genetically altered food. The department rejected proposals to label organic foods as no safer and no more nutritious than non-organic. Next on the CBS Evening News, the ongoing story of the American dream, this time about a canine cowpoke.
You don't need to go to extremes to afford a great car. Not at Oldsmobile's Zero to Pay Drive-Away, 0 down plus 0 payments, and 0 interest for 1 full year for qualified buyers on the Fun to Drive Alero. That's right, absolutely 0 to pay for 1 entire year on every 2000 and 2001 Oldsmobile. Limitations apply. Call for details. Drop everything and see your Oldsmobile dealer today.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
Nothing brightens your child's day like their favorite songs.
I'm a little pea, but short and stout. Here is my
Now Time Life Music brings you a new collection. 100 best love songs for kids for just $24.99.
Onion bridges falling down, falling down, falling down.
Imagine owning every one of your children's favorite songs all in one collection.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily.
You'll get all their favorite playtime songs.
I've been working on the railroad all the
all those great sing-along songs.
There was a farmer had a dog, and Bingo was his name. Oh, B-I-N-G-O.
And all of the best loved lullabies.
By day beyond the treetop.
100 songs for kids on 4 CDs or 4 cassettes for just $24.99.
Here we go, looby-loo. Here we go, looby-light. Here we go, looby-loo. All on a Saturday night. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man. The Muffin Man.
100 songs for kids. If you're not completely satisfied, Time Life will refund every penny of your purchase price.
Oh, where has my little dog gone? Oh, where?
So call now for 100 songs for kids.
Incy Wincy Spider went up the water spout. Down.
To order 100 songs for kids, call 1-800-435-5577. That's 1-800-435-5577. Or send $24.99 for 4 CDs or 4 cassettes, plus $4.99 shipping and handling to 100 Songs for Kids, Department 3, Richmond, Virginia, 23280.
In London today, Kurdish protesters denouncing the government of Turkey brought the world's largest Ferris wheel to a halt. The London Eye, a wheel 460 feet high that can carry up to 800 people at a time, was shut down when the protesters took over 2 of the glassed-in pods. They were protesting conditions in Turkish prisons, where riots this week killed at least 19 people, most of them Kurdish inmates. After about 5 hours today, the London protesters gave up without violence. It's been said a cowboy's best friend is his horse. But tonight, we introduce you to a Texan from cattle country who traveled far in miles and in memories before a dog named Hank helped him realize his own personal American dream.
The thing that I always wanted was I wanted to own my own ranch, as my grandfather and great-grandfather did. That's every cowboy's dream.
John Erickson continues his family tradition, living out his dream in West Texas.
It's an adventurous life. There's a lot of action and excitement when you're involved with large animals, cattle and horses. Yeah. One of the things that drew me to cowboying was that cowboys tell stories.
And that's another tradition of the Old West Erickson makes his passion.
We didn't know that kids from our town could aspire to being writers, but I found that it was very easy for me.
His talent sent him on the trail to Harvard.
I was writing novels, short stories, plays, articles, essays. I had gotten so many rejection slips, I didn't think I could stand to get any more, and I either had to do something different or just give up my dream of being a writer.
Until an old four-legged friend offered him some inspiration.
I thought of these 2 dogs that I'd known on ranches. I'd always thought they were funny, so I put them together in a story and imagined what they would say if they could talk.
He spun their misadventures into a children's book and published it with $2,000 of borrowed money.
Maybe he doesn't like us anymore. Maybe he hates us. Hank was a big hit from the very beginning. Hank was a star.
Since 1982, Erickson has published 36 Hank books and has sold over 4 million copies around the country.
I had every opportunity to buzz off and go away, but I continued to believe that I had good stories to tell.
Today, Erickson, his wife, and youngest son continue to bring Hank to his loyal fans.
Dogs don't have it, and probably never will. And them's the kind you leave behind when you're marching up the hill. It's a wonderful dream, and I look back and see the chances of my doing what I did as being very remote.
Oh, yeah. Erickson says he gets daily inspiration for his books by watching the animals on his ranch. Next up for him, a Hank the Cowdog screenplay.
The American Dream, brought to you by Fidelity. All the expertise, service, and technology to help you see yourself succeeding.
Do you remember my client, Mr. Foley?
Morning.
Yeah, he wanted to retire and go into teaching, right?
Asia Solodusky.
It's Asha Solodusky.
Pre-retire.
Okay, Asha Solodusky?
Solodusky.
He had a
pretty substantial portfolio.
This is my first day of school. I'm very excited, and I'm a little bit nervous.
So we worked together to restructure with the goal of providing income so he could become a teacher.
I'm a lot nervous.
Wasn't he a chemical engineer or something?
He went 20 years.
I'm loving this. I really am. Some of you people don't look so glad to be here, but I'll promise you this is going to be a very hot chemistry class. I'm going to make you
Not
really
bad, huh?
like this class.
To invest, call, click, or visit Fidelity.
Still in the news, the Buick year-end sell-off continues unabated. When Buick issued an additional $500 holiday bonus on select 2001 models, bringing total cashback offers up to $1,500, analysts predicted an immediate spike in market activity. Now, eager buyers are still storming the floor with no sign of a slowdown. You have to wonder, though, with holiday bonus cash ending January 2nd, how long can these market conditions last?
If your pencils look like mine did, there's something you can do. Ask your doctor if the Nicotrol inhaler is right for you. Or for more information, call 1-800-INHALER. Call today.
It happens all the time. Real people really win the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes.
I told you I was going to win, didn't I? This has made me a believer. Now I believe it. I saw it in person. It happened to me.
And it'll happen again. Super Bowl Sunday, the Prize Patrol could surprise you with $10 million. Live on TV.
Someone has to win. Just send it in.
Enter by mail or go to PCH.com. And Super Bowl Sunday, the biggest winner could be you.
If I want, anybody can win. I guarantee it.
Every time I tried to quit smoking, I chewed up more pencils. So my doctor gave me a prescription that, for the first time, makes me feel in control of my cravings. Ask your doctor.
Break the habit. The prescription for help is at hand.
Overspending teens concern parents. What do you do when your kids are out of control with money? Wake up to what's happening tomorrow morning on The Early Show with Bryant Gumbel and Jane Clayson.
The CBS Weather Watch shows the latest storms brought snow to the Northeast and frost warnings to citrus farmers in Florida. It was meat locker cold in much of the nation today. Here's the forecast map. If you're hoping for an early start on holiday travel, good luck. And whether or not your Christmas is white, here's how cold it's likely to be where you are on Christmas morning. Oh yes, winter officially starts tomorrow. Neither snow nor rain will stay the U.S. Postal Service from its appointed rounds. Postal workers handled a record 314 million items on Monday. Let's hope they didn't handle any of them like this. 3 Northwest Airlines baggage workers in Minneapolis were caught on videotape handling holiday packages with anything but care. Some made it alley-oop into the bin, and some didn't. But every item got the same treatment. Embarrassed Northwest Airlines officials said today the 3 have been, quote, suspended. Ah, the gentle giving spirit of the season. Dan Rather reporting for the CBS Evening News. Thanks for choosing CBS. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the Internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Is there a cheap fix for a critical car seat safety problem? Tomorrow, experience CBS News.